Do we have a spreadsheet? But what if I want to use the spreadsheet part of it? All right. Well, I'll start going over some of the basics. So all right. Well, I'll start going over some of the basics. So all right. Well, once we go in, you're gonna see C'thun. Everybody kind of comes right up to where Boba Threat is at right now. So everybody stack. So everybody can see.
Quiet to anybody else. You kind of.
Yeah, I can't hear you too well.
Oh, I have my mic on my head. So.
Do not go beyond that, though.
Yeah, don't go beyond circle. So what's going to happen is, I'll explain a little bit more in detail once we get the sheet up. So everybody should be able to see the eye of C'thun around the corner. So there's that black circle around him, but we're going to have one group in the back, one group up front,
3 groups on the right, 3 groups on the left.
and so you're going to have your own group number, and you're going to have a position in that group on the sheet. So it's important. One, you stand in the general vicinity of where your spot is, but I want everybody to type out /range 11 right now. And you want to make sure that no other names are next to you once you spread out into your positions. If you're not in your exact spot, that's okay. Just make sure that you're not in between a bunch of people, because what's going to happen is he's going to do a bunch of random eye beams throughout the fight for phase 1. And if he has multiple people too close to each other, it's going to chain, and for each time it chains, it doubles the damage infinitely, and it's a lot of damage, and it's an easy raid wipe. We have too many people close together. So the spreadsheet's been posted, so people can look at that in the sign-up channel. If you are position 1 in the group, then you are the designated melee, and you can see where the designated melee is supposed to stand. As a designated melee, you're going to be one of the only people that is standing within the black circle close to the Eye of C'thun, and as such, you're going to be the only melee that is actually DPSing the Eye of C'thun during phase 1. So designated melee, you have a very, very important role. When tentacle party spawns, that's going to be all the eye tentacles that spawn around the edges of where the black touches the ground, and they're going to be 8 eye tentacles. Each designated melee is immediately going to turn around, interrupt, and then kill that eye tentacle that spawns behind them. Only after you do that can you swap back to the Eye of C'thun and begin DPSing. There's also going to be claw tentacles that spawn throughout the fight. If a claw tentacle spawns under you, you are going to stand on top of it. If you do not stand on top, or at the very least next to it, then it is going to resubmerge, and it is going to go around knocking other people up into the air and dealing a lot more damage and moving people out of position. So, if a claw tentacle spawns, you stack right on top of it. Casters, you should be trying to help take care of those tentacles as much as possible. Same for the eye tentacles, casters help out. It's really easy to toss up Searing Pain, Scorch, whatever, and help nuke those down. So, every once in a while there's going to be a dark glare. He's going to turn so big and red and big and red, and he's going to look in a direction. You need to not be in front of where he is looking, because he's going to do a big, massive laser death beam, and it will one-shot you if it hits you. He's going to rotate in either a clockwise or counterclockwise fashion when he does that. So you're going to need to rotate around the room as he does that. If you look at the sheet, you'll see if there's a group number and there's a second number. That is your secondary position. That is the group that you end up in the same position after a dark glare. After a second dark glare, you're going to end up in your first position, so your first group number. If you were group 8, position 4, after a dark glare, you should be group 1, position 4. And so it's going to go through like that after each dark glare. Main takeaways for phase 1 are making sure melee, if you're designated melee after each tentacle party spawn, you turn around, interrupt, then kill the tentacle behind you, then get back on the boss. If if a claw tentacle spawns underneath you, stack on it and kill it, so that it does not resubmerge. After the Eye of C'thun dies, if everybody looks at the sheet, there is a little, a smaller version of the map in the top right of the sheet that says "Do not leave this area." That's that little semicircle kind of near the entrance. Once the Eye of C'thun dies, everybody's going to move up to that front section. Loosely spread, loosely spread. We're going to have, this is when phase 2 is going to start. We're going to have giant claw tentacles spawning. Loosely spread. Giant eye tentacles spawning. Loosely spread, loosely spread. And more tentacle parties with the 8 eye tentacles around the edges of the black that are going to be spawning. Loosely spread. I'm going to have Silent Shorty and Murder Hobo. You two, during phase 2, are going to be my designated stun/interrupts for the giant eye tentacles. So every single time there's an eye tentacle timer going, you guys are going to be keeping tabs on where those giant eyes spawn and make sure that you keep interrupts on those so that there's no eye beams that are going off. Loosely spread. Big warlocks. Massive warlocks. You are also going to be paying close attention to the giant eye tentacles. If for whatever reason they kind of spawn off to the side and you're not certain that there's somebody there to kick it, toss a death coil up. For the giant claw tentacles, those are going to be picked up by the tanks. For giant claw tentacle phases, there's going to be more emphasis on killing the eye tentacle, the small eye tentacles around the room that spawn first. Since the giant claw tentacles don't have any instant kill move like the giant eye. The giant eye tentacles, the reason they need to be interrupted is they do a C'thun beam really similar to his, so if it's really easy to chain in the second phase. Spread. We need to make sure those get interrupted. When tentacle parties spawn, melee in odd groups are going to move along the left-hand side of the room to kick and kill tentacles, and melee in even groups will be moving along the right-hand side of the room to interrupt and kill tentacles. I don't know if they can be blinded, but they can be incapacitated, so gouge should work, grenades, stuff like that. So it's the important thing more so is to interrupt the mind plays more so than just killing them. So melee, when you're moving along the sides, it's really easy to simply, since if you're a Fury Warrior, you can simply pummel one, then move on to the next one. If you're a rogue, you can gouge one, kick the next, move on to the next one and nuke it. So really what you're trying to do is prioritize interrupting the mind plays so that they're not killing people. Throughout phase 2, people are going to be pulled into the stomach. If you are a healer, and there should never be more than 2 healers in the stomach at any point. So if you're a healer, stay down there for a bit in case we get ranged DPS. If a second healer comes, wait a bit longer. If at any point there's a third healer, whoever was in there first needs to get out. Melee, if you get pulled into the stomach, immediately leave. There's going to be an island right in front of you with a little circle. You need to stand directly in the middle of that circle to get out. It'll pop you out after a few seconds. If you're not directly in the middle of that circle, you'll simply hit the wall and not actually get brought out. So you need to stand directly in the center of that circle. Get pop, back out. Get pop, back out. Get pop, back out. Once DPS are in there, you need to kill the left tentacle immediately. So don't DPS the right tentacle when you go in. Immediately kill the left tentacle. Once the left tentacle is down, so whoever is inside DPSing needs to make sure and keep us updated on what the HP percentage of the right tentacle is, because we need to kill the right tentacle after we've already killed the tentacle party up top. We have a tentacle party spawn when we kill the right tentacle and push them into vulnerability phase. Then we're going to be wasting a lot of time that we could be spending during vulnerability phase. Once that last tentacle goes down and we're going vulnerability phase, he's going to turn purple. Everybody needs to DPS. Healers, you need to DPS. Purple. Everybody needs to DPS. Purple. Everybody needs to DPS. You need to make sure curses are up, sunders are up, curses are up, sunders are up, and everybody pops all their cooldowns and DPS as hard as they can. Once vulnerability phases is done, we just basically go back into phase 2 again and do exactly what we were doing. Yeah. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? It kind of depends. Perfect. Any other questions? Perfect. Loosely spread. Perfect. So melee, what's your first priority on icon? Interrupt. Perfect. Interrupt. Yes. Interrupt. Massive. Interrupt. Whatever. Interrupt. Red. Interrupt. Multiple people. Interrupt. Oh, I have my mic on my head.
spread.